Everybody, and welcome to this year's campaign kickoff. I'm John Bidwell, Executive Director of the United Way of Hampshire County.
And I'm Molly Feinstein, incoming board chair.
We are very excited to have you for half an hour, this time together. Normally we would be feeding you and filling you with coffee at the Hotel Northampton, but alas, that will have to wait till next year when we celebrate our 100th anniversary. But for now, we're here, we're all drinking our own coffee, we're eating Pop-Tarts, croissants, whatever you happen to have in hand, but the spirit of the community is still at the heart of this event. Today's kickoff is half hour of awards and thank yous, followed by a 15-minute special meeting to discuss some bylaw amendments. For those of you interested in our bylaw amendments, please stay on. It will be short and it will be very sweet. We have a lot of ground to cover and a short amount of time to do it. So first, I want to give some thanks to sponsors. To our Platinum event sponsor, thank you, Greenfield Savings Bank. To our Platinum annual sponsor, thanks to Smith College. To our Gold annual sponsors, Daily Hampshire Gazette, Florence Bank, L3 Harris, Bank ESB, and Amherst College. And to our Silver annual sponsors, Applied Mortgage, Packaging Corporation of America, and CNS Wholesale Grocers. And last but not least, Bronze annual sponsors, Bank of America, Cooley Dickinson Healthcare, Eversource, People's Bank, Weber and Bunnell Insurance, Whalen Insurance, Wright Brothers, and UMass Amherst. Whether you have supported United Way for years or just recently, we can't thank you enough for stepping up during this challenging and remarkable time. Our 2020 campaign last year was successful because of you. And we are able to help so many more people because of you, especially now that they're in crisis. We raised emergency funds for Grow Food Northampton. When hand sanitizer was rare, we found it for Highland Valley Elder Services and other agencies. We found cots, face masks, clothing, diapers. We convened social service agencies across the county to coordinate efforts during this time, and we rallied volunteers, lots of needed volunteers, creating even a volunteer database that provided broad outreach to bring people in so that they could help in the ways that fit best for them.
Clearly, COVID-19 is having a devastating impact on families, workers, and businesses in Hampshire County. As a result, United Way of Hampshire County is being asked to help more than ever. We are fielding increased requests from nonprofits, municipalities, and individuals for assistance. People ask us for funding, volunteers, food, diaper, jobs, you name it. Nonprofits we support are feeling the increased pressure. The East Hampton Community Center has seen close to 800 new families needing assistance since March. It Takes a Village, an agency serving the Hill Towns, had a remarkable 2,400% increase in requests for help this spring. Food banks and pantries are experiencing up to a 30% need increase. In short, more is needed at the same time that support is threatened. Across the state, nonprofits already report revenue loss of over $8.5 billion. Almost half of organizations have reduced staff. The work of nonprofits has rarely been so critical. The pandemic has resulted in an unparalleled public health and economic crisis. It has exacerbated racial and economic disparities. Never has so much been asked of us. Fortunately, our ability to respond has been supported by you, our donors. And as a result, COVID-19 related needs, both long and short term, have shaped our current campaign. Based on these growing needs, we are fighting for additional funding this year to provide increased long-term grants, emerging needs grants, and diapers. Increased long-term grants will help social service agencies struggling with lower donations and turning to United Way for help with current programs, helping people in poverty and near poverty. This increased support is vital to the long-term health of local agencies and our communities in need. We are launching a new Emerging Needs Grants program, allowing us to be more responsive to immediate needs, which have grown since COVID-19. And finally, we greatly expanded our diaper drive to become a bi-county joint diaper bank with United Way of Franklin County.
From the bottom of our hearts, and behalf of all of the agencies that we support and the neighbors that they serve, thank you. Now, on with the awards. "2020 marks our 6th annual awards in partnership with the Daily Hampshire Gazette honoring unsung heroes in our community. This is the first year we're presenting the Francis Crowe Award, honoring the spirit of last year's Person of the Year, Francis Crowe. This is the place to recognize people who inspire us, for the people who are dedicated to the actions that make this a community for all and work for justice for all. The Young Community Leader Award recognizes a person between the ages of 15 and 30 who lives in Hampshire County and has contributed through community involvement and volunteerism to making this county a better place for all of us. With COVID-19 came a rush for help. Our region is a big heart, and people were ready to do whatever they needed to do. Some called around to see what that might be, and indeed, we received dozens of offers to volunteer. Other people turned to what they already knew, realizing that their unique skills were suddenly in demand. This is what happened with Northampton High School student Matthew Johnson. Matthew wasted no time making the link between his unique skills in 3D printing and the sudden need for personal protective gear. Here is Matthew's story.
Thank you, John. Hello, my name is Matthew, and I'm a senior at Northampton High School. I've always been interested in 3D printing and have enjoyed sharing my interest through teaching elementary school students. I never would have imagined being able to help the broader community to such an extent until the opportunity arose to make PPE, or personal protective equipment, for frontline workers. Over 3 months of manufacturing and assembling face shields and ear savers, I felt great pride in being able to help so many people. I never would have thought that I would ever receive an award for my efforts, as this project created its own life award. I love being able to help in any way I can throughout the pandemic. I really appreciate those who nominated me through the United Way Young Community Leader Award, and I am very grateful for the recognition.
Hey, congratulations to Matthew for your innovation, generosity, time, and talent. The 2020 Person of the Year Award honors a local person for going above and beyond in making the Valley a better place for all of us. What do you stand for? What are you ready to fight for? How fast do you respond in the face of injustice? The killing of George Floyd ignited a wave of protest in support of Black Lives Matter and racial injustice. Stephanie Mary's show immediately got involved and co-founded 413 Stay Woke, Stay Active with her partner Simbrit Paskins as the local response in line with the Black Lives Matter movement. 413 Stay Woke, Stay Active led the nationally recognized protests in Holyoke. I remember hearing about their work on New England Public Radio and was so impressed that I shared it on a LinkedIn post, writing, "A well-organized protest is powerful and inspirational. Huge kudos to the leaders of the protest in the city of Holyoke, especially Simbrit Paskins and Stephanie Mary Show, for getting it just right and being a model for us all." Stephanie is also founder of the Ethnic Study, a collaborative workspace, and she is a very talented musician. Stephanie truly embodies the spirit of civil disobedience as a fight for a better and more just community. Here's Stephanie.
Thank you, John, for that introduction. It is an honor to be named Person of the Year. I'd like to thank the Hampshire Gazette, United Way, and every person that was involved in the decision to present me with this amazing award. I'd like to thank my mother, Pamela Lumpkin, and my family for always teaching me to love and respect myself and others. I'd like to thank Simbrit Paskins, my girlfriend, who has been there to support me every step of the way. And lastly, I'd like to thank my friends and the members of the 413 Stay Woke, Stay Active group for keeping that same energy. As a queer Black woman, I have experienced my fair share of oppression, rejection, and bullying. I know what it feels like to be hated by people who don't even know me. And I know that I'm not the only one that has had this experience. But I thank God that I also know what it feels like to be loved and supported. And because of this, my life's mission is to make sure that people that are both similar to me and different from me get to experience that same love and support. I've learned that as long as they are not hurting others, everyone deserves to exist freely as themselves. Our differences make us human. They should be celebrated, not just tolerated. Power and privilege should be used to change the situation of people without it. I have the privilege to have a platform to be heard, and I will always use this privilege to carry out my mission. I truly believe that every life matters, but until policies, practices, and people reflect that, I will continue to be a friend and an advocate for those who are oppressed and underrepresented, for those who feel unloved, unheard, and unwanted. And I will continue to say that Black lives matter because our lives depend on it. Thank you again so much for this award. I'm truly grateful. See you.
Congratulations to you, Stephanie, for your leadership and your courage. The Francis Crowe Award recognizes a person, persons, or organization that represents the essence of Hampshire County with a documented history of bringing others to action for a cause. This inaugural honor recognizes exemplary work leading social and environmental causes and inspires the next generation of changemakers. It is named for last year's Person of the Year, Francis Crowe, and the lifelong spirit of her work. This year's selection committee was fortunate to have Francis's daughter, Kaltha, and her insight and understanding. What do you stand for? What are you willing to sacrifice when the advertisements tell us we all need more to be happy? Ruth Woodring is a common sight around Florence and the region. As a co-founder of Pedal People, Ruth has been doing heavy hauling by bike for almost 20 years, but her dedication to community, the environment, and peace goes much deeper. She was a friend and almost a disciple of Francis Crowe and embodies Crowe's values and actions. As Ruth says, one of my core motivators for biking is my belief in pacifism. By replacing cars with human-powered vehicles, we reduce our reliance on fossil fuel, oil, and the need to go to war. As one person said, Ruth doesn't just talk the talk, she pedals it. Here's her story.
Thanks, John. I'm probably best known for my role in Pedal People, a trash hauling cooperative where we haul trash on bikes.
You're listening to Out There on Valley Free Radio, WXOJLP 103.3 FM in Northampton.
And sometimes I like to stop by the vigil where Francis was for many years in downtown Northampton.
That's Saturday mornings when I'm on my way to the bike lab.
Also, I really like to help people learn to fix bikes. I've been at the bike lab almost every Saturday for the last 15 years.
I live in Florence on the bike path in a collectively owned home that we try to make welcoming for others. But my biggest project over the last year and a half has been collecting over 400 bikes to send to Trinidad. Francis Crowe inspired many people, so to be considered in that lineage inspires me.
It can be hard to imagine that United Way of Hampshire County only has a staff of 5. In addition to myself, we have 4 remarkable staff members. We've got Jeff Nonheim, our grants manager and partner agency liaison. It is unanimous. All of our agencies, all 30 of them, love Jeff, without exception. He has a huge fan club, but as a musician on the side, he's used to having a lot of fans. There's Rachel Jackson, our donor relations manager and juggler extraordinaire. Not only does Rachel lead our successful campaign, but she plans events like this, all while being a full-time mom to a 2-year-old. Maria Carlson, our workplace manager and primary contact with the companies and organizations that support us. It is a big job, but she has the organizational and professional chops to make it all happen. And she's only in her mid-20s, which is to say, she's going places. There's Bob LaPrey, our finance director,
who is retiring this December after close to a decade of incredible work here. We owe him an incredible debt of gratitude for his exceptional work in institutional memory as we've been charting new waters recently. Thank you, Bob, from the bottom of my heart. This incredible staff is the backbone of this organization. But we couldn't do all the work that we do to support the community if it wasn't for the volunteers. Hundreds of volunteers give thousands of hours. They volunteer, they provide guidance, expertise, and time. They lead, they donate. They are the lifeblood of this organization. So each year, we honor them. We honor 3 awards. First is the Kay Sheehan Spirit of the Community Award. The second is the Community Champion Award. And third, our Workplace Champion Award. Let's get started. The Kay Sheehan Spirit of the Community Award is named for Catherine Sheehan, a teacher, guidance counselor, and principal in the Northampton school system for 35 years, and who passed in 2012. She's probably the most unparalleled volunteer in the community. If you look at her obit online, you will be stunned at how much that she did. It is amazing, including everything that she did for United Way. As a result, this award, which honors her, is given to an exemplary community champion or partner agency that has shown outstanding service and leadership in our community, in particular in the last year. This year goes to our partner agency, East Hampton Community Center, and Executive Director Robin Bielecki. Robin is the engine behind the East Hampton Community Center and their remarkable response since the COVID-19 crisis started in March. Since that time, they are seeing almost 800 new families asking for assistance. A couple of weeks ago, East Hampton Community Center received 22,000 pounds of food from the Food Bank of Western Mass, and to have it be gone within 12 hours. That speaks to phenomenal need, and that speaks to a phenomenal response on their part. We've all been hit by COVID-19 and with the economic downturn, but the East Hampton Community Center sees those who are hit the hardest, and no matter who comes through the door, they're ready to help. Congratulations to Robin, and thank you to Robin, her staff, and the volunteers for your service to our community and your unwavering dedication to our neighbors who are most in need. The Community Champion Award is presented to a local individual or group that contributes to the mission of the United Way and creates positive, lasting change in Hampshire County. This year, we are proud to give the award to Lindsay Labonte and her father. I only know him as Lindsay's dad. What's his name? It's Todd Barron. Todd, thank you. And Todd Barron of Applied Mortgage. Lindsay's dad, Todd, and his wife Andrea have been consistent donors to United Way for decades. With increased requests for help that we've received from so many people and organizations this year, Todd and Andrea stepped up their giving this year. Todd has a long history with United Way, having been on our board and committees, and actually headed our campaign in 2005 and 2006. Lindsay picked up the mantle and now serves on our board and was also campaign co-chair in the years 2018 and 19. In addition to Applied Mortgage's employee campaign, which has been matched by their parent company, they awarded the United Way, as part of their Vitality Grant program, a wonderful grant. And Todd has been a champion for United Way with regional real estate businesses, and Lindsay has helped organize small local fundraisers like through the Hub Studio and Provisions. And that is just for United Way. They give back so much more to other organizations as well. We don't know of another small business that packs this much power of giving back. Their ratio of size of giving back to the community is an inspiration for all businesses and organizations, small and large. Thank you, Lindsay, and thank you, Lindsay's dad. Our next award is the Workplace Champion Award. The Workplace Champion Award goes to an exemplary United Way workplace campaign that embodies the mission of United Way through their participation and leadership and caring for our community. And this year, we are proud to recognize the Packaging Corporation of America. Packaging Corporation of America is an outstanding business that you probably have never heard about. They are hard workers, they keep a low profile, but they are 100% committed to community. They may not be looking for attention, but they deserve it. They have run an employee campaign for decades, and in that time, they have given back at least $360,000. They are truly one of my favorite workplace visits. They run a tight ship, they are no nonsense, they have an amazing operation. Their motivation and philosophy is clear. There are times in life when you need help, and there are times in life you give back because you can, no matter how small. What goes around comes around. Their dedication is simple, it's powerful, and for that we are forever grateful. In particular, I want to call out CEO Chuck Hatch and their campaign leader, Tom Doherty, two amazing men. Packaging Corporation of America, thank you. Before I introduce this year's campaign co-chairs, I want to recognize Molly Mead. Molly is stepping down as co-chair after a 3-year stint. Nobody has served 3 years as campaign co-chair since 1930, when Spencer E. Hickman wrapped up his 6-year term, making Molly the second longest serving campaign chair in our history. And I can't thank her enough for serving that long. Molly's experience and expertise was fundamental to improvements in the campaign and resulting in an over 12% leadership giving in donations, a matching grant from Amherst College, and an overall campaign increase over the last 3 years. Thank you, Molly. On to this year's campaign co-chairs. Marcus Jones. This is Marcus's second year as co-chair. He's a senior major gift officer at Northfield Mount Hermon School. Lucky for us, he also has United Way experience going back to his time with the United Way of Southern Mississippi. He knows his stuff, and I never question his judgment. Okay, once I questioned his judgment, when he allowed his toddler son Charlie to grow a mullet. I grew up in New Hampshire, and I know a good mullet when I see one, and I think he was just a little too young to carry it off. Give him a few more years, and Charlie will be able to do it. But for right now, keep it short. And Susan Etheridge. This is Susan's first year as co-chair, but she's been involved with the United Way for years. Susan, a Smith College professor, is the former dean of the college and vice president for campus life at Smith, where she also worked on the United Way campaign. In fact, she is our 2016 Kay Sheehan Spirit of the Community Award winner. In addition, she brings a wealth of expertise in early childhood education. She's a published academic, which, as I understand, is very important in academics, which is why I looked up her publications online, and there was one that caught my eye, titled, "Do You Know You Have Worms on Your Pearls?" I don't know much about academics, but I did pause at the title of this, wondering, until I read the subtext, which said listening to children's voices in the classrooms. It all fell into place. Now, over to Marcus and over to Susan.
Greetings. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Susan Etheridge. I'm serving as co-chair with Marcus Jones for this year's United Way of Hampshire County campaign. I'm honored and delighted to serve in this volunteer role. It was easy to say yes to John Bidwell, Executive Director of the United Way of Hampshire County, when he asked me to serve as the co-chair of the campaign. Why did I say yes to John? What calls me to this work? Simply put, it's an opportunity to give back to the community that has given me and my family so much during the 4 decades that we've lived in Northampton. The collective well-being of our local community, our Hampshire County, is at the heart of the United Way's mission. Working on behalf of the greater good is what the United Way is all about.
Hi, I'm Marcus, and I'm a community volunteer. I'm also a United Way volunteer, and I have the great fortune to serve again as the co-chair for the United Way of Hampshire County campaign. Thank you. Thank you for participating in this virtual event. Without you, this doesn't happen. And in fact, because you're here, you've already taken the first step to support our campaign this year. So thank you for that. Why now? Well, for me personally, I believe that my contributions as a donor and a volunteer through United Way of Hampshire County is the very best way for me to create a positive change in the community. It's the best way for me to leave Hampshire County better than I found it. I also really trust United Way and believe in the community impact funding model that they employ. And the use of volunteers at every step of the way through that process to vet agencies and their requests for funding really increases the trust factor for me in that process. In fact, I believe that our contributions to United Way of Hampshire County this year may be more important now than ever before. I mean, think about it like this. There are people right now in our communities who are really struggling and really hurting. They may be our friends, our neighbors, our colleagues. They may even be in our family. And they are depending on nonprofits that provide essential services for them. And let's be honest, those nonprofits are depending on us. They're depending on United Way to fund the very agencies and programs that are providing those services. We have a very big task ahead of us. Our United Way fundraising committee, our volunteers, Susan and myself, the United Way staff, and the United Way board are fully committed to an increased campaign this year. I believe we have an obligation to meet the rising needs in our nonprofit community head on. So what do you say? Are you with us? Are you up to the challenge? Are you ready? We have 273 days to raise $1.5 million. There are 34 agencies in 18 towns throughout Hampshire County that are depending on us. Are you ready? Let's do it. I remember after Katrina, United Way was there on the front lines with community leaders and legislators and volunteers tackling some of the most basic struggles of feeding and clothing and sheltering people in need. Well, we have the very same opportunity to show compassion for our neighbors and to lift those up that are in need and to generally advance the common good throughout Hampshire County. And we have that opportunity together through our contributions to United Way of Hampshire County. I'll admit it, the issues that we're facing today in our towns are far more complicated. In fact, they're even more complicated and compounded because of the impending pandemic, but more complicated than the issues that even we faced after Katrina in South Mississippi. But our call to action is the same, and it's clear. Be engaged, get involved, and make a difference. I'm asking you today to join me and live united. By participating in our workplace campaigns, you can make a difference. Volunteer at a nonprofit whose mission speaks to you. Get informed about the issues that affect you and your neighbors. Speak out as an advocate for those who cannot, and in fact, especially speak out for those who have not been heard. Be a donor, be an advocate, be a volunteer. Live united. Thank you. Now let's get after it.
Thank you, Susan and Marcus. Your leadership at this critical time is greatly appreciated. We look forward to this year's campaign and to seeing a lot more of you. Before we close out today's kickoff and move into our special meeting, we have a few more thanks. Thank you to our board of directors, 19 of the most dedicated individuals from across Hampshire County. Thank you to our committees. These include board members as well as the most amazing collection of doers you can find. Thank you to our partner agencies, 30 agencies on the front lines helping our neighbors most in need. They are there for them, so we are there for the agencies. Thank you to the United Way of Franklin County. Our closer work relationship, including our joint diaper bank and grants process, have been a great success, and we are excited to be evaluating an even closer relationship this year. Thank you to the Council of Social Agencies, or COSA. Like United Way, COSA works with agencies across the county, so it makes sense that we are working more closely together, like with our joint diversity, equity, and inclusion trainings. And finally, I want to thank all of you for your support. We have an incredible community to turn out and join us here on Zoom in celebration and gratitude. It makes me so happy to scroll through the screens and to see all of your faces. I truly miss the chance to be together in person. And so for now, I'm sending all of you a heartfelt thank you and many of you a giant hug.
And one last thanks, one personal one, thanks to outgoing board chair Kate Lynn. Kate agreed to stay on as board chair an extra year to help with the transitions, and she has been invaluable. I can't imagine navigating all the wonderful changes without her. Kate is only the third chair in our history to serve 3 terms, so she joins Judge Edward Shaw, 1924 to 1926, and William Byrd, 1935 to 1937, in this rarefied status. From the depth of my soul and on behalf of all of us, thank you, Kate. We are in the midst of a watershed moment. Collectively, we are reassessing power, responsibility, and equity. How we respond will direct our nation for decades, and it will affirm the spirit of something as close as our county. This thought, though, can be daunting. It is bigger than any one of us. It is bigger than any one group of us. It can become easy to become paralyzed because we don't know where to start or we feel we are too small to make a difference. But we don't buy into that view. Despite the gravity of the times, United Way remains as focused as ever on our neighbors who are most in need. Tackling poverty and near poverty, which is only exacerbated by our current situation, is at the heart of what we do. Over the next few weeks, we will reach out to you with more inspirational stories and opportunities to give, including matching grants. We have already received from an anonymous donor a $25,000 matching grant, and we have other challenge grants that are specific to certain groups, like the one that Marty Wall put forward with dentists. With your continued heartfelt generosity, we will continue to support dozens of programs, both traditional and new, both short-term and long, but all who are in the fight to see us through to better times. Be safe, stay healthy, and do good deeds.